You ever notice how the same story sounds completely different, depending on who tells it? Israeli soldiers storm hospital, kill 3 Palestinians. That's what BBC, CNN, The Washington Post, CBC, and France 24 ran with this week. Sounds horrifying, right? But here's what most of them did not say. The 3 men killed were Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorists, member of group whose official mission is to destroy Israel and murder Jews. Not militants, not fighters, terrorists. Shalom, I'm Igal, your host, and this is Middle East in less than 5 minutes. Today we're talking about the media bias and why the world still gets this story so wrong. The power of words. In war, words are weapons. When the media calls Hamas operatives militants, it blurs morality into mush. When it says Israel storms hospital without saying the hospital was a Hamas base, it paints the wrong picture. Every time. So when people on the street say the media is controlled by the Jews, I honestly laugh, not because it's funny, but because it's absurd. If Jews control the media, Israel would have better PR. Instead, every headline bends over backwards to both sides terrorism, or worse, to portray the terrorists as victims. This didn't start on Twitter. This goes way back. The Soviet blueprint. Let's rewind to the Cold War. The Soviet Union, a master of propaganda, found the perfect weapon against the West: Israel. Why? Because Israel was America's ally, and hating America was fashionable. So Soviet disinformation framed Israel as a colonial outpost, a white Western aggressor oppressing brown native Arabs. Sounds familiar? That narrative survived, and now it's repackaged on university campuses and TikTok feeds. In the 1960s and 70s, Soviet media and its satellite press in the Arab world blasted Israel as an imperial power, spreading forged stories of massacres and oppression. They built the myth of Palestinian resistance as a noble liberation struggle, while hiding the PLO's plane hijackings, bombings, and murders. By the time of the 1967 Six-Day War and the 1973 Yom Kippur War, the propaganda was so effective that even Western journalists repeated it, without realizing they were amplifying Soviet talking points. The media's blind spot. In the 1980s and 90s, things didn't get better. When Israel went into Lebanon to stop rocket fire, the cameras pointed only at the rubble, not at the rockets. When the first Intifada erupted, the images of children throwing stones made global headlines, but no one showed the armed men hiding behind them. By the second Intifada in 2000, the 24-hour news cycle and early internet had turned tragedy into content. Suicide bombings, buses in flames, and yet every Israeli counterstrike was replayed on loop, stripped of context. Pictures without cause, stories without truth. And now, in the age of social media, the propaganda machine runs itself. TikTok, Instagram, X, each post, each video shared in seconds. No verification, no nuance. Just outrage. Fast, emotional, viral. And people believe it because it feels true. Feelings have replaced facts. The cost of dishonesty. Here's the problem. When the media won't call terrorists what they are, it doesn't just lie to you. It helps them win. Every time a journalist softens a headline or hides a detail, they reinforce the exact propaganda that fuels more hate, more attacks, more death on both sides. And when truth dies, peace becomes impossible. Israel's actions are scrutinized more than any nation on earth, and that's fine. Scrutiny is healthy, but when scrutiny turns into slander, it stops being journalism and becomes something darker, advocacy for evil disguised as empathy. The next time you read a headline about Israeli forces killing Palestinians, ask yourself, who are they quoting? Who are they leaving out? And why does every story sound the same? The media bias isn't just a slant, it's a system. One built decades ago to delegitimize the world's only Jewish state, and we're still living in its echo chamber. I'm Miguel, your host, and that's Middle East in less than 5 minutes. If this episode opened your eyes, share it, because the truth doesn't trend, but it matters. Until the next time, Shalom.